You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up, take one look outside, and immediately wish you could just crawl back into bed? That was me. 4 a.m. sharp except, the universe decided to dump a full 18 inches of fresh snow just to see if I'd break. But that wasn't even the bad part. By noon that day, I was just standing there, staring at the front of my truck at this empty cold metal bracket where my Snowplow Bladia blade I dropped $3,000 on, by the way it was supposed to be. It was gone. Poof. Like it had been abducted by some snow removal mafia. Now, if you're picturing a guy in Buffalo, New York, cursing at the sky in the middle of a blizzard, yeah, that's me. Marcus. Been living in Riverside Meadows for 7 years now. Contractor by trade. I got the big Ford F-350, the kind of truck where you can slap a heavy-duty blade on and just go to war with whatever lake effect nonsense Western New York throws at you. And you know what? I've been doing that every winter for 6 years straight. Clearing Pinewood Drive, the whole neighborhood, all for free. Not a dime from the HOA. Not even a thanks most mornings. I do it because, well, someone has to, right? But standing there that morning, with snow still coming down and my breath fogging up in my insulated jacket, I could actually feel my blood pressure tick up. That blade was there at 10 p.m. when I check in at laugh. I'm that guy who listens to weather alerts and double-checks his gear. But now, just empty mounting points. I muttered, "What the hell?" and started looking around, trying to make sense of the footprints already filling in with new snow. There were drag marks, 2 deep, messy ones. Someone had actually dragged a 400-pound blade out of my driveway. You don't just walk off with one of those. This was either a group job or someone with their own equipment. So I did what any sleep-deprived, caffeine-starved person would call my neighbor Roger. Poor guy picked up after 4 rings, groggy as hell. I'm like, "Roger, someone stole my plow blade." There's this pause then, "What? Are you serious?" Dead serious. I ask if he heard anything. Nope, nothing. They were out by 9, sleeping like rocks. He tells me to call the cops. Of course, so I'm on hold with the non-emergency line, stomping around my property, half hoping I'll see a sign maybe the world's dumbest thief just gave up and left in the bushes, who knows. The dispatcher finally picks up. They're swamped with accidents, obviously. My missing plow blade is, understandably, not top priority during a blizzard. I get it. I go inside, start making coffee, and try to figure out my next move. Jennifer, my wife, comes downstairs already dressed for her nursing shift. She sees my face and knows something's off. Someone stole my plow blade, I say. She almost spits out her coffee. "You're joking." I wish. And she's right. Who steals a custom snowplow blade? It's not exactly a hot item on Craigslist, but people will try to sell anything online if you give them a chance. She asks about the street. What am I going to do? Rent one, maybe? But the rental place is probably slammed. Then she gets this look like suspicious. Do you think someone took it just to stop you from plowing? That kind of paranoia I usually dismiss. But that morning? The timing was too perfect. Why the night before the worst storm of the year? Who want me out of commission? She leaves for work, tires crunching down the unplowed street. I watch her go, feeling like a failure, like I'm letting everyone down. Then, one by one, the phone calls start. "Hey, Marcus, you gonna plow today? Can you clear my driveway before 9? On and on. Each call, I have to explain. Blade's gone, can't help. Some folks are understanding, others are just annoyed. No one knows anything. 8 a.m. I'm still glued to my computer, desperate for a rental. That's when I get the knock. I see Barbara on the porch, the HOA president. You know the type, right? She's got this blonde bob haircut, a clipboard, and this air about her like she's been practicing for neighborhood queen since middle school. In the 7 years I've lived here, we had exactly one pleasant conversation a day I moved in. She doesn't even say hi, just launches into official HOA business. She's gotten complaints multiply about our street not being cleared in the middle of a snowstorm. I just stare at her. "Barbara, someone stole my plow blade." She doesn't blink. That's unfortunate, but residents can't leave their homes safely. As a resident, you're subject to the same rules. You ever want to scream and laugh at the same time? That was me. I tell her, I don't get paid for this. I do it because no one else will. She doesn't care. Says, since I took it upon myself, people are now dependent on me, and technically, that's a violation. I can feel my face getting hot, the cold air not helping. She isn't threatening. She says, just informing. There'll be an emergency HOA meeting tonight, yes, tonight in a snowstorm. Attendance strongly encouraged. Oh, and she saw my garbage cans from the street Tuesday. That's another violation. She heads back to her Lexus SUV. She's got the full package. But then, as she opens her door, I see something. Big, metallic, under a tarp in the back. My heart actually skips. Could it be? By the time I get my boots and head outside, she's already peeling off, tires spinning in the snow. Cops finally show up around 10. Officer Patterson, tired guy, nice enough, but you could see he wasn't holding out hope. Honestly, Mr. Yates, these things are tough. If someone wanted your blade, they've probably got it hidden or it's halfway to Ohio. I tell him about Barbara, what I saw. He says, suspicious isn't probable cause. I get it, but still. He tells me to check for security footage. I don't have cameras. I never thought I needed them here. Rest of the morning, a blur of phone calls to equipment places nothing. Facebook page for the neighborhood is lighting up. Some folks are sympathetic, others are mad. One woman straight up calls me unreliable and says we should get professionals. Barbara posts a big announcement about exploring options for snow removal. Translation, she's in full damage control. People start arguing about whether I should get compensated for my lost blade. She shuts that down. HOA doesn't cover personal equipment. My phone rings again. It's Roger. He says he saw Barbara drive by and head toward the storage units at the edge of the neighborhood. That's where people keep their boats, campers, extra stuff. Something in me just snaps. I grab my jacket, hop in the truck, no blade, so I'm fishtailing everywhere, but I get there. Sure enough, her SUV is there. Hatch up, and she's trying to drag something big and yellow out the back. I walk right up. She turns, eyes wide, face going through every emotion in the book: shock, guilt, then just this cold defiance. "Marcus, what are you doing here?" I point. "That's my plow blade." She goes, "This is HOA property. We purchased it." I nearly laugh. I have receipts, photos, serial number. This is not her equipment. She doubles down. HOA is taking control of essential services. You made yourself indispensable. That's dangerous. We can't depend on you. I tell her I'm calling the police. Now, I'm not a confrontational guy, but this was theft, plain and simple. She tries to bargain, says the HOA can work something out, then threatens mess, starts listing all my violations. I dial 911 anyway. She just stands there, red-faced, telling me I'm making a huge mistake, that the HOA has ways to make life hard. Officer Patterson pulls up, same guy. I explain. Barbara tries to spin her story, but I show the photos, the receipt, serial numbers matching. Patterson asks for her documentation. She doesn't have any. He looks at her, and you can see the moment it clicks for him. "Madam, that's theft, no matter your intentions." He asks if I want to press charges. And I think part of me wants to just take my blade and be done. But if I let her walk, she's going to keep coming after me. "Yeah," I say. "I want to press charges." So he cuts her right there, reads her, writes Barbara, HOA queen, sputtering about her lawyer, about how this is all a misunderstanding, about how she's the victim. As she's led to the patrol car, she glares at me. "This isn't over, Marcus." I just tell her, looking forward to it, and honestly, I mean it even less than she does. We get the blade home, me and Roger remount on my truck. I spend the rest of the day plowing, sore and tired, but man, it feels good. People come out to thank Muir Travels fast in a neighborhood. That night, Jennifer's waiting for me with chili, wants to know what happened. I tell her the whole thing. She's stunned but proud, I can tell. But it's not over. Not even close. Over the next days, Barbara, out on bail, starts hitting me with violation after violation. My truck, my trailer, my garbage cans, even my Christmas lights. Each letter, more fines. The gloves are off now. The Facebook page is at war. Some folks defend me. Others call me a troublemaker. I get a lawyer, Scott, a friend of my brother, who tells me HOAs can get ugly fast. You have a case for harassment, but it's going to be messy and slow. You might have to fight it politically. So that's what I do: document everything, go to every meeting, get neighbors involved. Eventually, we force a vote. Barbara is removed as president. The fines are dropped. The lawsuit against me disappears. You'd think that's the end, right? Nope. I wake up to find my tires slashed, tyrant spray painted on my trailer. Anonymous complaints start showing up about my business, my dog, noise. Each time, I have to fight it, wasting time and money, but I don't give up. Not after all this. Then one day, Barbara's husband, Donald, knocks on my door. He apologizes for her, for everything. Says they're getting divorced, moving away. He admits she did the vandalism, the complaints, all of it. He says she was obsessed. She needed you to pay. It's both a relief and honestly sad. By the end of summer, they're gone. The new neighbors, the Hendersons, are friendly, normal. No drama. First winter without Barbariano complaints. No fines, just quiet. George, the new HOA president, even sends me a thank you card. It feels like I can breathe again. That's the thing. When you finally stand up to someone abusing their authority, you don't just win back your stuff. You win back your peace. It's not free, cost me money, stress, more than a few gray hairs, but it's worth it. Every so often, I hear from folks in other neighborhoods dealing with their own HOA nightmares. I tell them what I learned, document everything, get your neighbors together, and don't let yourself be bullied into silence. Change takes time, but it's possible. Even if you're just one guy with a truck and a stubborn streak. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I just let Barbara have that blade. Would it have been easier? Maybe in the short term. But giving in just teaches bullies that they can get away with it, especially when they're the ones making the rules. I'm not saying I'm some hero. I'm just a contractor who likes to help out where he can. But after all this, I know one thing for sure: if you don't stand up for yourself, you'll get steamrolled. And sometimes, standing up is the only thing that keeps your community honest. Funny how a snowplow blade turned into a battle for basic decency, right? But that's how it goes. You never know which fight is the one you can't afford to lose until you're already in it. So how would you have done? Would you have pressed charges or just let it go? Ever had to take on someone with too much power and not enough sense? Tell me, because honestly, I think everyone's got a story like this somewhere. And maybe, just maybe, sharing them is how we keep these little tyrannies from taking root again.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.